All right, and we are live down here at the clubhouse, 100 Kellogg's Lane, as we count down to Monday Night Football. The college season is now in full swing. The NFL season kicked off this weekend, which means nobody did anything leaving their house this weekend. And we have an exciting giveaway tonight where we're going to give away, I think it's a Brock Purdy jersey. I haven't actually looked at it yet. Hopefully it's not a CMC jersey because he just got inactivated for the night, but we're going to give away a 49ers jersey. But before we do that, everybody is noticing that there is a new face on the set here, and we have Tanya De Silva, who is a Fight to End participant.
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
I was going to let her drop that, but you went ahead and did that for her. I'm sure she appreciates that.
Sure.
So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me, guys.
You watch any football this weekend?
I actually did not watch any football this weekend.
Don't admit that to
I did
people.
see London Knights. I saw that they won, though. I watched the preseason game.
Okay.
So a little bit of hockey, not so much football.
And that's because you're not a football fan?
It's not that I'm not a football fan. I think I like hockey better.
That's.
It's a good start. It's a good start, right? Yeah.
I think that I read today that there's like 13 boys from London that are at the draft camps, like this for the preseason kind of thing. So we've got a lot of people showing out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was almost a full house. It was great.
Yeah,
And they won.
we had lots going on this weekend. Some games we won't talk about.
I'm still drinking from it.
Yeah. Chad is literally recovering from his hangover from Saturday and Sunday, drinking away those Notre Dame pains.
I just chose to drink until I don't remember what happened Saturday.
Look, the people might not be able to see your eyeballs, but your eyeballs are so red right now. I feel so bad for you. But that's not what we're starting with. We're starting with the Fight to End process, something that I was a part of last year, Liam was a part of last year behind the camera, something that like we've raved about, but it's not about our experience. I want to talk to T-Pain about her experience. I mean, what got her into it, first of all, and then, how has it been going?
Absolutely. So in terms of what got me into it, I had actually been boxing in the past. It was about 2 years ago.
A ringer.
Yeah, I had just did a little intro to boxing. I decided that would be super fun for me. And just cardio-based. No fights, no nothing.
That's okay.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have let me in. But still an amateur. Took some time off and then decided this would be cool. We're a media sponsor. I'm allowed to plug that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is literally no restrictions.
No rules.
There's no rules here. Cool. So FM 96 and Chorus Entertainment. So we've been a media sponsor of Fight to End for all 4 years, and so now it was my turn to follow in Jim Kelly's footsteps.
Is he going to be in your corner? Like,
I hope so.
cheering you on? I hope so too.
That's the point. I asked him, and he said he would be. So
Yeah.
You put on an absolute show last year,
did.
so you have some big shoes to fill.
I do have some big shoes to fill, but he feels like I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
T-Pain bringing the pain.
And the training has already started. Like, I'm sure your training has already started, but has like
Yes.
the training started already?
Yes, yeah. So it's been, I think we're on week 7 now. So it's been intense. Or I guess we're going into week 8, but it's intense. It's good. It's kicking my butt.
I remember Shane telling me about the early mornings that he was doing last year for the training. Are you doing that too?
You know what? I've been doing some one-on-ones sessions. I've been taking some extra training. So I do it with Dario. Shout out to Dario and Boomers. But yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. I do, some 6 a.m.s. Been doing those a little less lately because I'm actually moving to Calgary next month.
Oh, wow.
So I'm actually going to be training over there and then coming back to fight in November.
Right.
So
Dedication.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. And had you, when you said you trained before, was it at Boomers or were you doing it somewhere else?
Actually, where Mark and Carolyn had been prior to, it was called Get Enhanced.
Yeah, okay.
I was training over there.
Yeah.
And then they all moved to Boomers. And so I decided to do the fight, and they were at Boomers. I was like, I haven't seen you guys in 2 years. Cool. So it worked out. It was
What
like
a cool
big,
hidden
happy
gem that
family.
place is, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
But you would never know it's there, and then you
No.
walk in, and I remember walking in the first time and thinking like, oh, there's just one ring, that's kind of cool. Oh, there's like 2, and then there's like a workout area, and there's like a back side area where everybody else is doing more workouts back there. It's a lot bigger when you get in there, and it definitely is desirable. Like people you can see want to be there, right?
Oh, 100% you want to be there because you get the atmosphere of a gym and a boxing ring, but so you get like the smelly and everything kind of blended
That's
into
certainly,
a
yeah.
boxing.
Yeah, right away.
Everyone probably knows that knows, but it's like a family at Boomers, and I love it, and it just wants makes me want to be there all the time. So my friends wonder why they never see me. That's why.
Well, you kind of have to
And
give up your whole
family.
life for fight, and like
Yeah, you put
it's
your life on.
not in a negative way, but you have to invest the time, because if you don't, then
Absolutely.
I mean, first of all, you're not going to get better, and you're not going to get picked to be a part of it, because most people, like, they don't realize that there is a lot of contestants there that don't even get the opportunity to actually get in the ring. So like doing all that extra work is really what gets you to where you need to be.
100%. I've been putting in so much time and lots of effort for it, and it's paying off.
Are you on like 2 or 3 raw eggs yet a day?
You know what? I haven't. I feel like I already ate pretty healthy, but
You definitely need a Rocky montage of training. It would just be phenomenal.
And then where they're handing off the glass with the egg as you keep running? Yeah.
I should. Jim actually said we should do a really funny, like, where you're just at different parts of the office doing like outrageous things, like, I don't know. I'm just like trying to do like chin ups, like on, I don't know, parts of the office chairs or something. I don't know. So we just thought it'd be funny to put some sort of funny montage together. It's like also a handoff for him to say, I'm passing the baton on to you. But yeah, we'll come up with something funny. But
Like,
there's
you
so
were at
many
Boots and
ideas.
Hearts when you were training.
Yes.
I saw that. I was like,
Oh my
good
gosh.
for this girl. 'Cause
So-
I can tell you right now, I would not have been training at Boots and Hearts.
That's a funny story because yes, one of the other girls that can attest to this later on in the show, there's a tease for you. Sarah was actually at Boots and Hearts with me too, and she could mention I literally wake up and I would do my runs, and then I would FaceTime my coach Dario, and we'd be in the middle of a field, and I'd set him up somewhere and be like, okay, now show me what I'm doing. He wasn't on camera, but I was, because he needed to see what I was doing. But yes, I was training at Boots and Hearts.
That's awesome.
That's dedication.
It was.
Boots and Hearts, Calgary, flying back.
Yeah, I do the most.
You might have a lot of people cheering in your corner after this show.
I'm more the merrier.
Sure.
It's one big party, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good, yeah.
So have you been popped in the face so far in training? Because like I know I hear that's really when you kind of find out what everything's about, right?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
It says it on the wall there.
It does say it on the wall too. And you know, it's funny, I had to be reminded of that because yes, that actually happened just this past weekend with Coach Heather. It was so funny. She felt so bad, but I was like, nope, I needed to get punched hard enough that I felt it. And did I ever get clocked? Yeah. And so, that was overwhelming at first.
I bet, yeah.
But
that was something that Shane
I
also
still
kind
did
of
rounds
mentioned.
up.
Like you go into knowing you're going to fight, but not knowing when that first hit in the face, whether training, sparring, whatever it is going to be, and what it's going to be like, right? And that's, you could be a month in before you finally get that first hit in the face, right? Because if you're really good at blocking, who knows if you're ever going to get hit in the face before you get to the ring.
First punch, like the eyes fill with water. You're like,
Yeah.
and like you're like,
Okay,
Yeah.
glad
like
it's
you
not
said-
just
No,
me.
no, no,
I'm like,
that's
am
very
I being
common.
a
I trained for over 15 years. I remember the first time I sparred, I got hit, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I went back to my corner, and my coach was like, don't worry, this happens to everybody. It's not naturally a punch in the face. And I was like, you know that, but like when it actually happens, it's such an overwhelming feeling at the
It's
time.
almost
Yeah.
surprising in a way too. I was like,
And now I'm
this
just really good at getting punched.
Yeah.
I can block a lot of punches with my face.
The thing I had to get used to, so like baseball and football, there's single contacts and then it's just over. In boxing, if you get hit, you can't just be like, shit, I got hit.
Yeah,
Like,
give me a second.
like, no, you actually continue to have to protect yourself and then fight back. Football, you get tackled, yeah, whatever, just
Tweet,
run back.
go back.
Yeah, like
For
next
sure.
play. Baseball, you slide into somebody, whatever, you might like scuffle it out, but nothing's coming out of it. In boxing, yeah, if you get punched in the face, you better be ready for the next one because it's coming for your body or your head or something.
That's the important part. I feel like is the counter moves in boxing. Is like you have to be prepared for that. To be prepared, like you do get hit in the face. Well, how do you come back from that?
Yeah.
How did you find your crew out in Calgary to work with? Was it somebody that, because I know that we had some girls that went and fought like in the all-girls boxing out in BC.
Oh, great.
Was it somebody that they helped you find out that direction? or-
Yeah, so I guess another shout out to Brett and Mark, but they are actually finding me a couple gyms. There's a couple different variations of gyms for me out there. One that's a little bit more like Boomers and one that's just a great boxing gym. So they're just kind of going back and forth, just depending on where I'll be.
Sure.
So just kind of trying to lock that all in right now, but I'm feeling really good about it. I get to train out there, and then they think I should change my name to like the Hurtin' Albertan or something. But I still think T-Pain is just
T-Pain
where
lines
where
up,
it's
yeah.
at. Yeah.
Now,
was it-
you're here with there's 3 other people that are going to be coming onto the show, and
Yeah.
you guys call yourselves the Core 4.
We do.
Now, how did we come up with the name Core 4?
Oh, do I get to
Not the Fab Four?
not the Fab Four. Yeah. Well, it's like the Fab Five.
Well, it was the Fab Five, then it was the Fab Four.
True. Yeah. I was like, oh, I do love the Fab Five. But yeah. My dad's just FaceTiming me, probably wondering if I'm on TV right now.
You should bring, go on.
If I actually had my phone on me right now, I'd be like, hey, Dad. Shout out to my dad. But yeah, so it actually came up because, Morrissey House in London, they do a proceed of every bill towards Fight to End. And I was speaking to Josh.
Shout out to 2023 group.
Yeah. And I was speaking to Josh, and he's like, yeah, I'll come out for drinks, let's go. And I think it was his idea. And then there's only the 4 of us that decided to go out and have drinks and hang out. And we realized we became one tight-knit crew, and we take care of each other. And now we're really close friends. And we take progress photos and hang out in our free time together. Sarah and I went to Boots and Hearts.
That's amazing. Do you have any fundraisers coming up? I know you're about to move, but from what I've heard, there's a pretty big fundraiser that's going to be happening coming in the few weeks here.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely it's slight tease. I'll let Josh get a little bit more into it, but we are kind of throwing a pretty big party. It's a little bit of a fundraising party / Tanya's birthday going away extravaganza, all shenanigans all added into one. So we're definitely looking forward to that.
So you're just making your birthday a charity event?
We're kind of
like it.
blending everything into one.
I
one
like it.
big
And
party.
so like someone doesn't want to come to your birthday, you're like, wow, you're just not
Wow,
going to
yeah.
charity? Like, you're a dick.
How dare you?
Well, I was obligated to go because Josh was very supportive of me last year, so I want to be supportive of him this
Good.
year. But now we know that it's a sending off party for you. I think we'll all be there. We'll all be
Perfect.
for the barn dance.
Send me off to Calgary the right
Yeah.
way.
Now, I know that you have somewhere else to be. We appreciate you taking the time to come down here.
Absolutely. Thanks for
And
having
we wish you luck along the way. And I can assure you that I will be in the room for the fight. And the thing that will overwhelm you is when you walk out and see how many people are there. You can't. There's no getting ready for it. You cannot get ready for it.
I will say that I did not. I'm one of those people that don't look ahead to what I'm going to. I just want to be
fair.
completely shocked. And I remember walking to the room and going, holy, this is red carpet. And there's so many people here. There's like 50 tables around here. And it's a party. It's a vibe. It was really, really
totally
cool
a party.
experience. Yeah.
Had you guys been to the event prior to? Okay. At least I have the luxury of having
That's true. Okay, you've
been
been
there
there.
last year
Yeah,
to
okay.
see it and then kind of knowing what I'd be stepping
Yeah,
into.
okay.
But the people's walkout songs and everything was awesome. It
Yeah.
was great. So,
No, you don't have to tell us your walkout song, but have you narrowed it down
oh,
yet?
it's already been.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'll give you a hint that it's a T-Pain song.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Is it I'm in love with the stripper?
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure how appropriate that would be.
There were some pretty inappropriate ones last
Oh,
year.
yeah.
I came out to shine. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. They asked me like, "Are you sure?" Like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well,
Go
we're-
T-Pain.
We're in your corner. We're in
Thank you.
the corner of all the Core 4, and we appreciate you taking the time. And good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Who's next coming on?
I don't know. There's lots of people, but we got lots of football to.
Oh, I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
want,
yeah.
Hey, get up and go.
like, hurry up, girl.
No, not at all.
No, you're good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Space.
All right. Well, it is a Monday night. It is football night. I think that we got Coulter coming in here in a second, but before
That's just a
Coulter,
fighter's name.
yeah, before Coulter joins us, go ahead.
Come on in.
No,
you
you
gotta
gotta
get ready.
strap up,
Yeah,
man.
get ready and
You-
everything.
You can't go halfway then turn around.
I mean, story
Yeah.
of my life sometimes.
But before we get into Coulter's story, biggest surprise from the weekend as far as football goes.
Do the Titans still find a way to lose no matter what?
Yeah,
Is that-
you guys lost to a team that had no offense.
All right, so I'll give you the biggest surprise for me because I've been a number one hater of the guy. I still am not totally bought in on him, but Anthony Richardson won me over a
Looked
little
good.
bit. I hate him as a Colt. I can't cheer for him, but that 60-yard bomb, the way he pushed in the rush touchdown, I know he lost, but he definitely looked a lot different than he did last year or even in college, for sure.
Yeah.
My big takeaway is that Baker Mayfield is a whole lot better than Daniel Jones. And I've been waiting 2 years for this in your face.
Yeah.
One guy got better, and the other one has regressed really badly. And Daniel Jones made a lot more money than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I mean the fans waiting 2 hours after the game to chirp him on the way out of the stands. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
Okay.
like how brutal is
Here's
that?
the thing. Daniel Jones could go 0-17 and he's still winning
Yeah.
because that guy's dating Kay Adams.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Is this true? Like we
This-
actually, it is.
It's not true.
Okay.
She's
It seems
saving
true.
herself for me.
I know
Seems
that I know
true.
that I've seen a few videos of her losing herself in his eyes, but
Just saying.
yeah.
Anyway, biggest surprise big takeaway for me is the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns can't run their franchise. Both of them are an embarrassment of a front office. Giving away a quarterback to bring in another quarterback that's going to do the same and worse is a humiliation to them. And then the Cleveland Browns are continuous hype train. They just went out today and signed Kadarius Toney because your receivers are the problem, right? Like it's actually your quarterback is too busy 5-on-1 mugging himself because he can't go to the massage parlor anymore. That's the real problem. But
They're giving away his jersey here in a
Yeah.
couple weeks. So
yeah, I can't believe that. That's wild. We might skip that episode, but
Yeah.
anyway, we'll go back to football in a sec. We got Coulter joining us.
Yeah.
Another Fight Den participant.
Pleasure.
Another guy that's a part of the Core 4. And Colt, I know how you got into Fight Den, but why don't you tell us how you got into Fight Den?
Oh, yeah, there's actually a number of reasons as to why I got into Fight to End. And I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is my wife, Meg, who fought last year. And Meg was absolutely solid in the fight that she did. And I saw how it actually transformed her life. And now she's obsessed with boxing. She lives, eats, and breathes boxing. She was actually had the pleasure to be on with you guys last year around this time as well. And but watching that, it really seemed like a chance to say yes to something new, something challenging, a chance to be new at something again in life. And there was another fighter who fought last year, Rory.
Yep.
And I got talking to Rory one day, and he was talking to me about like what decisions do you make every day to do something a little bit better, something a little bit newer with your life. And you know, this is something that ultimately, when you get in that ring, it's very anxiety-inducing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I really wanted to step up and do something that would not only challenge myself physically, but really challenge that mental state of overcoming that anxiety, overcoming that fear of stepping into the ring. So, yeah, it's been quite the journey so far.
Yeah. Well, and I've gone on record to say it to anybody that'll listen that it is a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Like the group of people you get to meet, the training that you get, the ability to like push yourself, like you said, mentally and physically beyond points that you ever would have thought is amazing. And what was like the top thing? I mean, you were there a decent amount last year, like whether you're training or just kind of watching, but like what surprised you that you didn't already know going in?
You know what? It's funny because on the sidelines and watching it, you see everyone suffering at this gym in such a, maybe suffering isn't the right word, but there's this joint camaraderie around this almost like sheer effort that's going into it every day. And when you're sitting there, and I was just picking up Meg, and you make that camaraderie, but actually diving into it, it's an entirely different experience. I thought that I was involved last year, and I thought that I really got to know some people, and I thought that I had experienced some of the trials and tribulations, but no, now every day I come home sopping wet, covered in sweat, had no idea what I was actually getting in for, but it's also so rewarding at the other side of it, right?
How many burpees can you do now?
Oh, consecutively?
Because I know Mark loves them.
Geez, I don't even want to say that on camera because I know the second I do, Mark will be like, "Okay, here goes 50 burpees today." Like,
You set your limit, and now we need to get
exactly.
Mark, did you hear that?
Right now.
Yeah, Mark, did you hear that? He could do 50.
You know what though? I'll tell you, I surprise myself every week.
Yeah.
You know, every time I think that I can't, you have some coach in your corner telling, yes you can, and you do. And that's the thing that has been so shocking about this experience is where I thought I had my ceilings, I go right past them.
Yeah.
And it's just been incredible that way.
You know, it's cool. I think of the UFC fighter guys, like the MMA style, as just being loose cannon guys. And every time I meet you boxing guys, you're all just very, you're good. You're not crazy. It takes a certain mentality to get into a fight and swing a punch at somebody, right? But you guys all seem very level-headed. I love it. So have you had any street fights in the past, or is this your first time getting into it? Because that's another thing too. Is like.
Yes and no. So when I was much younger, my dad was a big fighter growing up. My dad was a big Taekwondo competitive fighter though, down in Florida.
Okay.
Big. He was state champ back in like, I don't know, 88, 89 before I was around. But my dad was really into it. So as a kid, he desperately wanted me to get into it. So by the age of 6, he was putting me in like small competitions and getting me into that stuff. and I actually hated it. I could not stand it as a kid, just because there was so much pressure to do it, and I wasn't the one who wanted to.
Yeah.
So I actually stopped doing that from like 12 all the way through to now. But I always had that scrapper mentality. I was always a very scrappy fighter, and I don't think Taekwondo was maybe the right discipline or sport for me. And I found a really nice niche in this. Like, this is really suiting what I like to do.
What's that conversation with Dad like now? Is he really cheering you on or what?
You know what? It's a real mixed bag. Like, full disclosure, my dad and I don't talk very much anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, this has been...
Way to make it weird, Caleb.
No, not weird in the slightest, because, you know, every family has a story. But me and my dad were not super close anymore. But what this has done is this has brought me to a place where I've reconciled a lot with him. And it's actually let me get to a place where, you know, my dad and I know that if we were on like good terms or whatever that might be, he would be the first person cheering me on in the corner. And I think that's part of the anxiety behind all this, is overcoming that weird internal battle as well, right?
Bigger than the sport. I love it.
Way
man.
bigger than the sport.
Appreciate you opening up like that.
Of course,
That's
yeah.
good. I'm sure that's going to connect with somebody out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, like, it's a pretty light environment, and I like to lighten things up. Now, from what I understand, you have a pretty unique promotional idea that is kind of fishing around so that you can do some fundraising, because ultimately that's what we're out here for, is to do some fundraising.
I'm interested.
And get this fight to end going.
So right now what my promotion is, and all the coaches at the gym are kind of giggling at it, saying that I'm essentially selling my body. And what I'm really doing at this point is, for $5, I have 10 workouts on like a spin to win wheel. And whatever that workout is, burpees is one of them. We will find my max if it ever lands on that burpee number.
It's actually weighted so it never hits it.
Yeah.
Never hits burpees. But for $5, I'll do a workout to burnout. So any workout that I land on, I'll do it until I can't do it anymore. For increments of 10 to 100, I will do a series of push-ups, sit-ups, squats, curls, and then that many kilometers run, up into 100, where it's 100 of each, followed by 10K run. And then if you go beyond that, it's more mentally astute stuff. So the one is my wife Meg gets to just punch at me for 5 minutes straight, and all I'm allowed to do is defend.
Nice.
And then the other is that I will shadow box in a public space until I'm gently escorted to leave that space.
I like that.
That's a good one too, I think. But the big promotional item that we've kind of been kicking around, what we were joking about earlier, is feet to end. I'm thinking feet photos to end homelessness in London.
Like it.
Now, I
it.
have a hobbit's feet, but I know many people with nice feet.
Sure.
And we can collect those pictures, get them together, start
We're
selling.
a big city now. There were a diverse community.
Absolutely.
There's lots of people out
it's
there
worldwide.
for that.
This
Yeah.
is going to be something. This is going to be
Yeah.
like the OnlyFans, but for feet.
I like it. I
Only
like it.
feet. That's
Now,
all.
when you were putting your list together of workouts, was it you that did that list? Because I couldn't write down the list, but how I want to die on this. I want to.
Yeah.
I'll
know
play
what?
3 games of Madden.
There you go. There's
Yeah.
my list
That's-
right there. Yeah.
I got to give another big shout out to my wife with that, because it is hard to challenge yourself in that way as to what's realistic and what would people want to see.
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, we were driving to Niagara one day, and it just became this giggle fest in the car, you know, and like this unrealistic plan that became, the more we talked about it, we're like, oh, we could actually, if you did it this way. And we massaged it slowly into kind of what it is. And I'm a big anime nerd myself.
Okay.
And so there's a hero called One Punch Man, and the joke is he's overpowered as all could be, but how he got there was just doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10K run every day. And whenever he tells anyone that, they're like, well, that's not overly extreme. And I'm like, it's really hard.
That's
Yeah.
really fucking hard. I'm not doing
Yeah,
that.
you're allowed to swear. You do
Oh,
you.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do you, man.
I did one of those on Friday, and I fucking died. Like, by the time you finish everything, then get to that 10K,
Sure.
like, oh my gosh. But the nice thing that it's been doing is, and this is the big reason why we kind of came up with it, is why not do something that not only engages the audience, and I do a receipt. Every time I do it, I take a video of a time lapse of it, and I send it giving a shout out to the person that issued the challenge.
That's awesome.
But it gives a receipt, and it gets me in shape. And I want to get in fighter shape. Like, I know I'm not going to be the greatest technique. I know I'm not going to be the fastest fighter out there, but I want to get my conditioning and body to a place where I'm comfortable bringing my best to that ring, because that's the best respect I can give to my opponent at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can, I mean, just from being in that physical condition, you can just overwhelm your opponent.
That's the hope. Yeah,
Yeah.
just get as many punches as I can in before he gets in.
Volume, 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 volume.
Exactly.
But what you should do is you should come out barefoot, and you should put your shoes on before you get in the ring.
Something really weird that throws the mentality off?
Well, I mean, if we're doing feet
If we're doing
to
feet
end,
to end,
Oh,
that's
okay.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
I do train in bare feet all the time.
I know, because you're a savage.
You could have like the Ninja Turtles logo of the foot somewhere on your
Foot Clan?
Yeah, the Foot Clan. Yeah, man.
I would
That's
love
awesome.
that, actually. That's a great idea.
So when you say you want to bring everything to that ring, it seems like not many people do this as a one-time and that's it. Like you said, your wife got into it.
Yeah.
You've progressed for 7 weeks, almost 8 weeks into training now. You think this is going to be a forever thing for you? Or?
You know, I've dabbled with that quite a bit. And I mean, at the stage of life I'm in right now, you know, we're thinking of starting to have a family soon and all that jazz. What I think it's going to be is it's going to become a habit
Okay.
for me. And whether or not I fight after this, I know I'm going to keep up with the physical conditioning. And the community is really what pulls you in more than anything out of this. And I think, you know, as we build a family, and I know my wife's never going to stop, but as we build a family, I would like to raise a family in this community and continue on that way. I might get punched once or twice in there for sure.
Well, I
but-
mean, it's going to be pretty difficult to float around boomers visiting your wife and have them not pull you into the ring
Oh,
a couple of
exactly,
times, right?
exactly,
Yeah, it's going to
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
Well, we're wrapping up towards the end of time, but if we were looking at, you know, we're fast forwarding to December, people are asking you what the experience is like because they're considering getting into it next year. What would you tell a brand new participant that doesn't know anything about Fight to End why they should get involved in this?
Well, first of all, I'd say that you'd have a better time asking the question, why wouldn't you? Because I
Right.
think there's a lot more to speak to, like, why would you ever say no to an experience like this, right?
Kalen did.
Not only...
I had a heart condition.
Let me
Wait,
talk to you.
we
Have
will
you
see.
met Colt? He's rebuilding his relationship with his father through this.
It's true. I am.
And
Reconnecting
here
the
you
pops
are.
over
You
this fight.
jerk.
Yeah, you selfish dick, Caleb. Just shutting down everything.
Honestly, it's everything. It's the community, it's the reconnection with your body, and the ability to say yes to something. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, this experience has been the ability to say yes and to prove to yourself that you can, even when you think you can. And whether or not you have a condition or not, I completely understand
It's called he's a
that.
ginger.
Yeah, stop. The yes man
He's
mentality.
a daywalker at best.
The yes man, that mentality. I love that movie. So that's the idea. You're just
Yeah,
going to take it from
yeah.
here on out. I like that. That's cool, man.
1% better every day. That's all you
Right.
can do.
Love it.
That's amazing. We look forward to seeing you fight. We look forward to seeing the entire Core 4 fight. And if you're going to be hanging around for a bit, we'll definitely catch up after.
For
and,
sure. Yeah, I'm hanging right to the end.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, for sure,
Cheers. Cheers, man.
All right. Well, again, we did have some football this weekend, and we talked about big takeaways, and we talked about some different things. Does it surprise you at all that Christian McCaffrey is not playing?
Nope. If he's not 100%, what point does he have playing right now?
Yeah.
They don't need him in September. They need him in full form in December, getting to January, and making that run. That team is good enough. They're going to win 11 games. 30 in the depth.
Yeah, okay.
So why would I put arguably one of the best players in the whole league on the field if he's not 100%? Because if that calf goes, or that ankle goes, and it goes, it's over and it's lights out. And you need him to make that run. So today, not the end of the world. I think it sucks for the fans, sucks for any fantasy owner, but at the same time, like, Christian McCaffrey doesn't get paid by your fantasy points. And the 49ers don't win because you won your fantasy game.
Well, I agree, and like this isn't about fantasy. It's not about any of that stuff. It's to me, you went through an entire preseason and you didn't play in the preseason, and I get all that. How is it possible that these injuries continue to just creep up? Like,
Well, from what I understand, I just learned this through the new CBA. Up until the third week of preseason, you don't technically have to list what the full injury, the extent of the injury is. And then in the fourth week, after the cuts happen, you officially have to start designating injuries. And that's why the Niners had a few of these injuries pop up on the chart. And there's a few other teams that popped up where they were like, oh, I thought it was just like a bummed ankle or something, and suddenly now we got an Achilles problem or something, right? So that's a new CBA thing that I've just learned about. So they probably... The Niners, I mean, they were dealing with their own things on the side too, with the Ayuk deal and the Trent Williams deal. I think they were trying to keep as much news out of San Francisco as possible there.
did you
right?
see the Ayuk story?
About the letter that he got?
No, about the like what was happening as he finally went
Oh,
to
that
Kyle.
the Steelers deal was done. Like they had basically said, you're either going or you're signing, kind of thing.
They were on the phone with them finalizing the deal,
Mm-hmm.
and Kyle Shanahan ran from the training facility upstairs to the front office to tell them to hang up, and John Lynch was like, "We'll call you back," and then Ayuk signs the deal. Which I'll tell you, as a Steelers fan, people wanted him. I wanted him at the time. After watching this weekend, we don't need him. We're a one read offense.
Yeah. But did you see the thing I'm talking about, the letter? Adam Schefter dropped that today on the McAfee show.
I haven't seen it.
So in mid-August, he got a letter saying he had 5 days to return to the team, or they were going to submit him or put him on a list that would disqualify him for the year and not accrue a year on his contract, which is like what most players have done. Oh, we'll hold out to week 10, come back, and I'll play the last 7, and it counts as a year. Well, I didn't even know this was a thing, but Schefter dropped it today, so I wonder if more teams are going to flex that. I think it's one of those, the very last, the players is going to be gone anyway, so you're going to flex.
The final page.
Yeah. So pretty interesting though that was dropped. Took a few weeks for that news to come out too.
He said, he's like, yeah, I made this more difficult than it needed to.
Yeah.
Right there when I heard that, I was like, man, like if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm so glad you're not there.
Well, and he took the original deal.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, he had more money from New England, turned it down.
Well, would you go to New England?
Yeah. New England shocked Cincinnati, but Cincinnati notorious for getting off to slow starts, even and especially with Joe Burrow. You turned down Cleveland, no shit. Like
No one wants to go there.
I'm sorry, because Tom Brady was on there, and I really wanted to give that broadcast a chance. I thought Tom Brady did great, by the way. The Cleveland Browns are in big trouble if they want to keep starting Deshaun Watson.
Well, there was I can't remember the name of the guard, but the one who like recovered the one fumble. Watson went to go help him up, and he like swatted his hand away.
Yeah.
Like and I don't know if that's just the heat of the moment or whatever, but that is pretty telling on the field when an offensive lineman swats the quarterback's hand away. It's not about like, oh, I'm a tough guy, I could get myself off the ground.
Look.
It's your QB, it's helping you, lending a hand here, and you just swat it away like that.
At
Well,
the
you
end of
want
the
to
day,
touch
they-
his hand?
Yeah. they have a lot of money invested in that dude, and they don't really have much ability to get at that. The Cleveland Browns are single-handedly the reason that the Houston Texans are competitive. Single-handedly. They took all their problems away with the Deshaun Watson stuff, gave them 3 first-round picks, a couple third-round picks, a 5th-round pick. Those guys look like Will Anderson, Tank Dell.
Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
Like, look at the guys that they were able to turn these people into. They
That
ended
being
up,
said, Houston was competitive when Deshaun was there, but they've just been able to bring it to another level.
he was there when it was the heyday, and you could just go get your hand releases whenever you felt like it. Now that you can't just do that anymore, things got tough for him. But
I don't know, that the whole Cleveland, there's a dumpster fire.
yeah,
There's nothing good that goes from anybody that goes there. Their career dies. Living proof is like Baker Mayfield now found a home in Tampa Bay. And I thought he was good last year. He looked really good. Yes, I don't think Washington's a great team, so I'm not going to buy too much into it that way.
but you're supposed to shit kick the bad teams, and
You
they
are.
did.
And that's the thing. When you're supposed to and you do it, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to shit kick Carolina, that team looks absolutely
Oh.
atrocious.
They got worse.
I don't know how you get worse, but they did.
And they're worse now with the injury, with losing the best defensive lineman. That's going to hurt a lot.
Well, I mean, they have a lot of fixing going on down there in Carolina, and that poor coach walked into a situation I don't think that he wanted to be
He
a part
walked
of.
into a city. No one wanted that job.
Yeah,
That's how he
like,
got it.
But it's the perfect example of like the way the NFL is going right now, and we have these young quarterbacks coming in, and maybe even you look at a guy like Baker as a good example, or we'll stick with Baker for now. He found an offense that they asked him to be Baker, not asked him to be the Cleveland Browns quarterback that we're just going to turn into whatever we feel like. If you can find the skill sets within the quarterback that makes your quarterback better, why are you trying to change him so much to be what you want him to be?
And I'm not going to take away from his game yesterday, but when you got the length that Mike Evans does, that one touchdown catch was that was all
Oh,
him,
yeah.
right? But it's things like that where Baker has inaccuracies, but he's fortunate enough that he's got 2 wide receivers there in Tampa that both have 6'7" wingspans. Well, the third is really.
I'm telling you right now that Jalen McMillan will be looked at the end of this season as this year's Puka Nacua.
But he's not like lengthy. I don't even know much about him, but he's not like 6'4".
He's from Washington. He's 6'3".
Is he? Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Well, then that's good for him.
He had
Who's
a
their
touchdown.
tight end down there, by the way? Now I forgot to ask you that.
Chad Otten.
Chad
Or Cade Otten, whatever.
So the no name tight end. Okay.
No, he's a big boy. He was there when.
I'm saying
Yeah,
he's not a household name. Was what
No,
I'm saying.
he was a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, kind of like I've talked about Baker so much in the last 5 years. I've been a fan of his since college. I know. You had your win. I cheered for you for one weekend, okay? Take it. He has a team that believes in him. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't believe him in Cleveland. He had one good year when they ran the play action, and he had his best year, and then they stopped doing that. And they tried on this offense that he has to take shots down the field.
Yeah.
With receivers, you couldn't take shots down the field with.
Well, I mean, it's not very often you walk from the best quarterback of all time to at least a capable quarterback.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're going to that rookie quarterback or that bridge quarterback, and I don't really know if Baker was viewed as the bridge. I know we got a one-year deal there.
Yeah, I think it was a one-year prove-it deal. Like if he flopped, he's probably out of the league.
Yeah, I think
he made his $6 million.
Yeah, I think he made $2 million base.
Well, yeah, whatever it was, he made his money, and if
Listen,
he flopped,
as long
what-
as Bryce Young is in the league, there's an opportunity for a quarterback to get a job somewhere.
Whoa. Don't
Look.
hate that guy's, it's not all his fault.
I am
majority.
now of the opinion that there is not as many bad quarterbacks in the league as there are bad coaches, and I think that bad coaches and bad franchises will continue to ruin good quarterbacks. And I'm not going to talk about the performance that I told you going in, that if we don't turn the ball over, whatever. You can't tell me that the Chicago Bears couldn't have done with Justin Fields what Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin put together there. They took all the reads away from him. They made him very comfortable. They got a run game in. And as soon as they got the run game going, they started to do play action. They cut the field completely in half. He just rolls out. That's a pretty good pass rush and overall defense in Atlanta. They didn't find the end zone. No one feared. We have a good kicker. So you rely on your special teams, you rely on your defense, you rely on your run game, and you don't ask a guy that can't put the whole game on his shoulders to put the game on his shoulders. And yeah, there's no surprise that that formula is going to be something that works. If you don't make mistakes and you make the other team make mistakes, you're going to win.
Yeah, like I've been a fan of Justin Fields. I don't think the Bears should have done what they did, to be honest. I've been very vocal about that. I don't think Caleb's that much better than Justin Fields. I could be wrong, and I might eat my flowers down the road.
Wow.
But I didn't see nothing from Chicago this weekend that I didn't see last year. Like, he did have that one really nice throw. I'm not going to take it away from him. Like, that was a big boy NFL throw. Does he have a better arm than Justin Fields? Yes. Like, that's not a lie. But I don't think the Bears are much better than what they were doing with Justin Fields last year. That guy won 5 of his last 7 games last year. They almost made the playoffs.
Yeah, and that the reality is, if Will Levis didn't fall apart in that game and make some of the mistakes that he made, the conversation today is, did the Bears make the right decision? It's week 1, but did the Bears make the right decision? They couldn't muster 150 yards of offense. They can't find their way into the end zone. They have all these weapons everywhere. Nothing's working. And if it wasn't for a couple Will Levis mistakes and a blocked punt, that's the conversation right now. But because those things happened, Caleb Williams is getting the pass, which I'm not saying to call him a bust yet. We called him that before he was drafted. But I'm saying at this point in time, the Bears are, you watch that team, I don't know that Tennessee is one of the top teams in the AFC. I'm not saying they're. I'm saying that's a bad win that they got.
I think that as much as you touted the offensive talent that got thrown onto Chicago, we need to also tout the defensive talent that the Titans got in the offseason.
No one's disagreeing. I think that the Titans
but that's
defense
why
played well.
I'm interested to see what happens next week when the Titans play the Jets, because you're playing a good what we know is a good quarterback. But I want to know, because that was an aggressive defense I have not seen since 2008. They got sacks.
Microphone's just right there.
We're not allowed to fight anymore. Sarah's here.
No, I'm not fighting.
She's going to put you in your place.
But that's what I'm interested to see, is what happens is against a good quarterback, because you're right. It could be Caleb, but it could be Caleb facing a very good defense too. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we got Sarah joining us, Fight Den participant, part of the Core 4. How did you get, this is the question we've asked everybody, how did you get involved in Fight Den?
Yeah, so I actually, about 4 days before the fight last year, my company's like, we forgot we have a table to this fight. We do a lot with YOUs, so they were like, do you want to go? They're like, we really like everything you do on socials or promote the company. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. They were like, it's open bar. And I was like, fantastic, absolutely going.
Even better.
I did not get an open bar last year. I'm gonna put that out there.
It was open bar
Yeah.
last year?
You
No,
didn't
it's
have
not.
that.
Sponsorship
You didn't have
tables
that level of
are open
sponsorship.
bar.
That's cool.
I would
Okay.
say I do have 2 this year, so it's a good time. But
That is cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
so talk to Sarah after the thing so we can get some. Yeah.
but yeah, so I just went to the event. I really had no idea what I was going to, and like I would say 3 minutes into the first fight, I turned to the person on my right and I was like, this is gonna be me next year. It's like no doubt in my mind. It's like these people like didn't know what they were doing, you know, 6 months ago, and now they're in a ring fighting like pros. That's insane.
Now, have you recorded yourself, just like the start of what your fighting may have looked like, whether it be shadow boxing or sparring with somebody else versus to what you look like now?
So I actually haven't recorded myself in the beginning, but I play a lot of sports. So I have a lot of videos of me being incredibly uncoordinated, and boxing has really helped. I can tell that I'm like getting better just by like doing stuff. Like I'm training with like my Core 4, I'm training with the people at Fight Den, but like I've never been a coordinated person. I've always been like a power hard hitter. I played rugby, I played hockey, I played kind of all the big hitting things, but boxing is completely different. Like,
So you kind of get what I'm saying, and I was talking to I don't know if it was Coulter or Tanya that I said it to, but in those sports you get hit once and then you just kind of move on with what you're doing.
Yeah.
In boxing, it's just like you get hit and then you get hit and then you're like, shit, why have they not stopped hitting me yet?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like people are always like, oh, you play all these contact sports, you should be so used to getting hit. And I'm like, I'm totally used to the first hit.
Yes.
But when I'm against like me and Tanya, a lot of the times like we'll spar against each other and she just comes in and she's small, she's quick, she just will like hit. And it doesn't hurt. It's just like, it's like a little fly, just like constantly bugging you, and it just like wears away at like your will to live.
Yeah.
So
It's frustrating. Yeah.
it's frustrating, and then I can't hit hard against people who are smaller than me.
I hit hard on Shane every
So-
chance I got last year. I hated him.
Really?
Yeah, so Chad wasn't part of the participant, but he gave me probably like 200 rounds. So every Sunday morning we would meet and it would be 10, 12 rounds. And yeah, like eventually you either are going to get better or you're going to get knocked out by your best friend. Like,
Yeah. So
I've wanted to hit this man for so long. We've worked together for so long, and I was like, so like with my wife, she's like, oh, like we're doing like I have to go box Shane. She's like, you look way too happy. I'm like, I've been waiting since 2013 to get my one free shot.
yeah, well, that's awesome that you were able to go out with him. It's awesome to have somebody to spar against. Like, I'm not somebody who grew up in London. My family's not here. So like having just somebody around or like a friend or something who wants to hit against you is such an asset, because when you're not in the gym, you can actually be training outside. But luckily I have my like Core 4 group of these guys, or else I would have like nobody to spar against outside of classes. So
you can just wail on Josh.
oh yeah, Josh actually got me really good the other day. He saw my hand slip and he just gave me a little like reminder punch. It like barely grazed my eye bone, but I was like, yep.
Josh Miller.
How dare
He
you?
just wanted me to know.
Miller.
He was like, somebody else could hit you there really hard. And I was like, yes, they could.
So besides Josh's name that you've taken down for a fight later, you're about 8 weeks into the training now, have you noticed some other people that you're training with and you're thinking, I wouldn't mind fighting that one?
Oh, so I definitely know there's people I don't want to fight.
You've noticed that already, okay.
Yeah, so Tanya is one of them. There's another girl that we train with, Megan, who she's a lot shorter than me. She's in a shorter weight class, but she came up to me the first time we sparred. Her hands were up to her face. She was like hitting me like just from here, but she was constantly blocking her eyes, and I was just flabbergasted by whatever she was doing. Otherwise, I'm in the highest weight class that there can be. So it's like 179 plus for the weight class. So there's only 2 other girls that I could potentially fight with. I've sparred with one pretty consistently, and it's really going to be a toss-up.
Okay.
The other one I haven't had a lot of practice with, but she's getting a lot of private training, so
Okay.
we'll figure out what she pulls out. But she's playing it cool, for now.
What was the one of the biggest things you learned about throwing a punch? It's not just as simple as just making fists and throwing it, right? But like, what have you learned through this process about either using your body and creating that power, or the way you're swinging? Like, what is the big thing for you that you've taken away from the sport so far?
Yeah, so I guess like the big thing is like translating your like body weight into the punch. So a lot of the times you just think of boxing as kind of being like an upper body, like you're twisting, but the biggest punch that you can get is by using the power that you have in your legs. Like me as like a hockey player, ringette player, like I have a lot of power in my legs, and the coaches have really worked with me to like transition that power into my upper body, like using the thrust that you get from your legs to punch people like with all the power in your body, not just the inherent weight or anything that you have, which is really awesome, because it teaches you how to use it in so many other contexts. Like I'm still playing other sports and I'm getting better learning this.
Are you still playing hockey, and are you you were always a threat on the ice from what you're making it sound like, but are people looking at you now and going, oh, she knows how to fight now, I'm not going to go at that?
Yeah, so I'm not actively playing hockey anymore, but I'm playing ringette. And I had a tournament actually on Saturday this weekend. And yeah, people were like, I don't really want to be next to this girl. And I was like, that makes sense. Because I wasn't hitting them, but I was just, throwing a shoulder, throwing an elbow here. But when you know how to put the power into it from boxing, that one elbow just looks so kind.
Little forearm shiver there, right?
Yeah,
I get
absolutely.
It. Yeah.
So.
And so how are people reacting that know you, family, friends? Are they surprised that you got into this, or is this just like the progressive next step? They knew that you were into this.
So I feel like nobody's like surprised, but like my job is I'm an accountant. So telling people that I'm like an accountant.
Those are the people to watch out for, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, wow. So yeah, nobody's incredibly surprised that I'm doing it, because I feel like I've always played a lot of sports. But they're surprised like how into it I am, and like the community that we have, and the amount of burpees we do.
Yeah,
so many burpees.
I have never been this sore than when I was like learning rugby in high school. Like I've never been in as much pain as I have in the 100 billion burpees we do every class, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to dox yourself, but you said you're not from around here, your family's not around here. Are they able to make up the trip to come and see you fight?
Yeah, so my sister's in Toronto, so she's going to come up to see me fight. My dad's going to come. We're originally from like Port Hope area.
Okay, yeah.
So he's going to come, and my brother is in Dartmouth, which is near Halifax.
Yeah.
So he's just going to tune in.
Yeah, a little bit of a commute.
A little bit of a commute. We were really trying to get it set, but him and his girlfriend got to be around. But
now, are you part of the Barn Dance fundraiser, or is there any other fundraisers we could direct people to?
So I'm not actively doing any fundraisers right now. I am helping out with the Barn Dance, but that is like all Josh and Tanya. Like it is their brainchild. It is everything in their heart. So like definitely support that ball fundraiser.
Okay.
But unfortunately, there's so many volleyball fundraisers.
Yeah.
There's so many great causes out there. We're just trying to find one that works for people. But yeah, I'll let you guys know, and I'll let everybody know like when we come up with something. But my company is really promoting the event, and we're really trying to fundraise from like within the company and within kind of the construction industry to help that. So that's mainly our focus, is just reach out to our vendors, reach out to our trades and clients, and try and get them to support. So.
Cool.
Right, that's awesome. Like I said, we appreciate the time that you're spending out here, and we'll catch up a little bit more after the show, but we appreciate, like I said, we appreciate you taking the time. We wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to seeing all the Core 4 in the ring.
Awesome. Yeah,
the 22nd, I think, November 22nd, 23rd.
November 21st, I think.
That one, yeah.
But so close. But yeah,
22nd is Recovery Day, Shane.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it. All right, we're coming in hot.
Yeah, we got one left.
Yeah.
We almost got kickoff too, so.
Yeah, we got Josh Miller.
I see you brought your athletic.
All right, so we got Josh Miller, 4-4. Like, there's two ladies in it, so like, it's 2024. You don't want to get weird about it.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
If you say horse people, I'm asking you to leave this show.
All right. Yeah, we're not making this a horse people thing. So Josh, I know how you got involved. These guys probably know how you got involved, but like, why are you in Fight to?
And so I got to watching and learning about the charity, seeing how great the organization was. I was like, man, I'm in. I want to sign up. So filled out the participant application and thankfully got selected. And as I've come to learn more about YOU and everything they're doing with Jones Place, like this charity is awesome. So really proud to be here. and support such a great cause in London.
Absolutely, and going in there, you know, like I know a couple of months leading up to you, in anticipation of being selected, started to get yourself into shape and you started to work out a little bit more. But take us through the first week, because I got to witness you. I got to see you walk around a little bit. Talk to us about the body in week 1.
Yeah, so in January I knew I was going to be signing up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go on a journey to try and let's get back in shape. I was 250 in January. Then I was at the Fight to End weigh-ins for the start of the event, and I was 241. So I'm like, okay, good, I've lost some weight. And then I hit the first day, and it utterly floored me. Talk about a humbling moment, but it was rough. Body hurt for like a solid week. Just insane. I didn't realize how much cardio goes into everything related to boxing. I just wasn't ready whatsoever, but it's been a pretty awesome journey ever since, and noticing the difference being almost 2 months into it now.
Well, the thing is, like, you're working out on Tuesdays and Thursdays plus whatever else you're doing, and usually after the heaviest workout, the next day you're like, oh, that's not so bad, and then the next day comes, and you're like, oh my god, I can't move.
Train again.
Yeah, and that's your training day.
Yeah.
And I been there. Kalen's definitely played Madden before, tired, so he gets it too.
What is your favorite workout?
Oh, favorite workout?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the one that like you dread, like the one that you're getting the most out of, right?
Well, I think burpees you get the most out of.
Stop
I hate
advertising that.
I hate it. It's awful. I actually puked in one of the sessions in my mouth. Had to swallow that down, but yeah, burpees I get the most
It's
out of.
okay if you puke there. They'll bring out a bucket and they'll mop you up.
They did. Day one, they're like, here's the puke bucket. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, great.
I watched a dude puke in sparring. He got punched in the stomach, barfed out the side of the ring.
Fully believe it.
Well, we saw it at the fight, right? We saw it at a fight recently, right?
Oh yeah.
A couple of kids.
Poor guy.
He wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're progressing. You're week 7, week 8.
You got a fighter name?
So I decided to go very risky, and I've been bringing my kids out.
Risky business?
Yeah, well, so I've been bringing my children out every week.
Okay.
So they come out, they're watching. They've even done some of the drills. Coach Brett's been tapping them. And so I put it to my kids. I was like, you guys get to pick my name and my walkout song. And
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
What's that backpack TV show with the kids?
Dora the Explorer.
You're going to come out listening to that as
I was worried it was
song?
going to be like Baby Shark.
Yeah.
No, so the kids decided that I was going to be Josh the Monster Miller.
Okay.
And I'm walking out to the song Monster by Skillet.
That's cool.
So and I was like, you know what? That's a decent song to walk out to. The kids didn't do too bad.
I would have thought like, what's that one from Space Jam with the Monstars?
Oh,
That'd have been sick.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I took my daughter to a Skillet concert recently, so thankfully she was on the like hard rock theme for picking my name and song, so that worked out well.
And so we found a lot of things out about you today. Like, 1, your kids think you're a monster. 2, you don't mind punching a woman in the face.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you could share with us that we don't know about you, Josh?
I'm pretty sure I hid behind the bar when Sarah just told the whole world that I punched a girl in the face. But, so the other thing I can say is really good at creative editing.
Okay.
So I had the privilege of sparring with Chad just this past weekend. So we were in the ring, and I think I said to Shane when I got to work, he was like, oh, Chad dummied me. Like, hit me a few times. I think I lost my vision once. Like, it was rough. He hit me good. But then I made this Instagram reel, and with the creative editing, it actually looks like I was winning most of that sparring session. So,
When I saw it, like, man, you made me look really bad.
Yeah.
I took only the clips where I was okay and decent, and just I'm gonna have to make a reel where I just get smashed later. But no, in terms of other things, London homegrown boy. Born and raised in Lambeth, been in London my whole life, part of the Miller Berry Farms.
Yeah.
Been general manager at Tepperman's, really invested in the city, contribute to a bunch of different charities in the city. Proud to be stepping up into this one, and it's I don't know, there's not much more to it. Just a kid who grew up playing hockey and now is trying to box as a 36-year-old dad.
So if you had to pick, first fight, middle fight, last fight, which one you want?
Oh, for the I want like first fight, because then I want to just be done and then
And
watch the
everybody
rest
else.
of it.
Yeah, that's a good spot for sure. Set the tone.
And you get to go hydrate after that.
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
You can go enjoy
A little
some
bit
nice
of lubrication
hydration.
after. So yeah, I think if I had a preference, early in the night, but out of my control.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all those things you'll find out day of. We've been hearing a lot about this barn party and the barn dance, and
This has got to be you are a Lambeth boy, my God.
Yeah, it's Lambeth. Who doesn't have a barn dance? Come on.
so so details wise, like we've heard BYOB.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right, so the
yeah.
barn dance is September 28th at Millerberry Farms, just outside of Lambeth. If you search up barn dance, I'm sure you're going to find it on the Facebook events, or just, I don't know, find me, Josh Miller, on Facebook. But it's going to be September 28th at Millerberry Farms, and it's going to be, I've lined up a line dancing instructor.
Okay.
So there'll be a couple of big group line dancing lessons, just to make it real country.
We're sending Kaylin in.
Oh, we're going in.
Yeah,
Like, Kaylin,
we're
you're
going to set
going.
up we got a massive tractor wheel that we do big bonfires out of. So we'll have a big bonfire outside, bring a couple lawn chairs if you want to hang out outside the barn. If not, there'll be great dancing inside. It is BYOB. Serving is...
Does anybody else feel like this is going to get out of hand?
Man,
'Cause, like,
what you're
that's literally the
describing
only
to
thing on
me
my mind.
is Harvest Fest. I don't even know if Harvest Fest still happens or not.
So I'm in the planning sessions with my uncle who owns the farm, and I was like, all right, I purchased insurance up to 1,000 people. He's like, do you think there's going to be more than 1,000 people? I'm like, oh God.
Boy.
Our insurance caps out at that. But no, it's going to be a great time. Lots of awesome people I know from the community are going to be coming out. And it's just going to be a great time to get together. We're going to have raffles, a couple different draws. We've got some side games that we're setting up and planning. There'll be a dartboard there and a dart competition for highest score wins a prize.
Okay.
So lots of stuff to get engaged. I've reached out to try and book a food truck.
Okay.
I'm confident I'm probably going to land one. If not, I got a couple backups. But it's going to be just an awesome time. Good food, good friends. And just, yeah, having a barn party with lots of side events to raise money towards the great cause.
Worst case scenario, we'll just set up a barbecue. We'll just grill some some glizzies.
Yeah,
We'll get it going.
It's Lambeth in the country on a farm. We're going to have a good time no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's one piece of advice that you would give to, the next Tepperman's participant that you want to put in, or the next person you're going to recommend maybe to get in?
You know what? I think the biggest piece of advice I can say is find a way to overcome that fear. There's a lot of people that think they can fight or say they want to fight, but very few people sign up and do it. And the fact that, no one it was scary to sign up, right? Like,
Sure.
What you're committing to, it's a fight in front of thousands of people that are going to watch you getting just pummeled in the face. But the reward that I've gotten already out of training, out of meeting just the amazing people at Boomer's Gym, just the awesome connections that are being made, the help and support from all sorts of people, Chad included. It's so rewarding that it doesn't matter what happens to me on fight night. This experience has been life-changing. And so if you're apprehensive at all, find a way to overcome that, because the rewards are so much greater than the downside of getting hit in the head a few too many times.
That's well said. We appreciate you taking the time. I know that you're going to hang out so we can have a beer and catch up a little bit more.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to spar you again.
Yeah.
I'm giving you no highlights.
You're going to give me a reel of me just being pummeled next time. So
Yeah.
There'll be no creative editing, by the way.
I'll let you make the reel.
Yeah. Oh, it won't happen then.
Thanks, Josh. And we're gonna light Miller Berry Farms on fire, from what I hear.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right. So we got about 10 minutes to kick off. So why don't we use the next 5 to just talk a little bit of ball. We've had some boxing talk. We've had some ball talk. We can see that they're getting ready to get their coin toss going over there. Outside of some of the stuff that we've already been talking about, we probably got to give a little bit of a shout out to the Patriots for taking down Cincinnati. Even though I think Cincinnati might be a little bit of a mess, this doesn't feel the same as the way that it's looked. But
Well, they were missing some people, and they were.
you know what? I don't care. You went in and Jacoby Brissett beat you at home with what I think is a good run defense, or a good run game, and a good overall defense. But Joe Burrow did not look himself. Jamar Chase was obviously limited, and you're right, they're missing T. Higgins, but there's no excuses in the NFL. Missing guys is not a reason to lose a game that you're favored by. They were probably the highest point spread of the weekend.
I'm not bought into their run game. Like, I know they replaced Mixon with Moss, and I'm not saying Mixon is like the bee's knees. He had a pretty friggin' good game over with
He
Houston.
sure did.
But there's just, I think that there is a level of like 10 running backs in the NFL that if they were removed from their team, that things are going to change for that team no matter who's on that squad, unfortunately. And I think that Zach Moss, as much as he can bring to the running game, which Mixon was only a 1,000-yard rusher, just over a 1,000-yard rusher, it's the passing attack that Mixon brought to the game. The other 400, 500 yards receiving on the side.
You can also pass block.
Oh yeah, and three down back. Like, that's another big thing too, right?
Yeah.
It was cool to see Chase get a few attempts. Chase Brown, right?
Yeah.
Like, local boy, so that was exciting. But I don't know. Is the luster wearing off already in Cincinnati? It's already embarrassing enough. I know they're getting a new facility and all that shit, but like walking across the street
They're
when
not
you're
allowed to show it on
practicing.
socials.
Yeah, well, they're not allowed to show it anymore. Yeah, like that. Like that alone to me, walking into the game is like, you guys are already a Mickey Mouse friggin' organization. You've been joked about that for years, but then it'd be like, oh, don't show it on socials. Own your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You've made it this way. You've been the same owner for how many years, right?
Right.
Own it.
Well, I agree. I think that they have lost one too many coaches along the way. Like I'm not Cincinnati's not dead and gone because they lost the first week, but Cincinnati is not going to live up to the expectation that is there for them because there's too many guys that want money. Both your receivers are not playing the hardest because I don't think there's a single stat that Jamar Chase can get this year that affects his contract next year. Mm-hmm. And I think regardless, T. Higgins walks somewhere else, and it doesn't matter if he has 10 catches this year or 100 catches.
He's going to be the highest paid receiver in football next year.
Exactly. So, like, all those things are just going to happen. And I know that we're wrapping up here, but...
Well, I did want to touch Jacoby Brissett. Is this man? I know the guy I'm going to compare him to went to the Super Bowl, but is he not like Joe Flacco? This guy, everywhere he goes, he will give you the game that you need to be able to be in the game.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I thought he's a better version of Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he just, I feel like he just always knows how to just to compete to the level that as long as your defense could do something for you, you're going to get a win, right?
Well, yeah, and he's a guy that you can rely on, a guy that you can put in there. He's steady Eddie. He's not going to wow you with anything, but he's not going to make the major mistake. And look, I mean, he was a Patriot. He sat behind Tom Brady for a bit, and you know, he went to the Colts for a bit there. But yeah, I mean, the final team to talk about is the Detroit Lions, and not just the Detroit Lions that went to the NFC Championship game last year and blew it, but I'm talking about the Detroit Lions team last night that went up by 14 points, blew that lead, and everybody was thinking, oh shit. And they found the perseverance to tie it and then get the ball smack dab right down the field. I, for the first time, including last year in the NFC Championship, I am officially bought into the Lions.
I don't know if you saw on the Montgomery touchdown. Obviously, Jameson Williams had a fantastic game last night, but on specifically that touchdown, when the camera goes to David Montgomery and he's celebrating in the camera's face, if you look off to the left just a little bit, that little wide receiver, Jameson Williams, is grilling the corner who was covering him all damn day and throwing up the L's to him in his face. That guy's not a big wide receiver, but this guy's come out with an attitude this year that I think that, and he's proven it, that he's a hell of a wide receiver.
He's got a lot of steam to blow off. He can't gamble anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what he gets to. It's just one of those things where size doesn't seem to always matter with some players, because I looked at him coming out of the draft and thought he's going to get hit by one guy and that's going to be it. Same thing we thought about Xavier Worthy. He went and had a hell of a friggin' show out for his first.
Can we also talk about how that was another trade from the Bills?
Who's that?
Worthy?
Oh, Xavier Worthy. Yeah, they just handed him to him. Yeah,
They handled it and they traded the pick that got the Mahomes.
Yeah. The Bills love the Chiefs.
Yeah, like they're just giving them studs.
I think this is. Could we officially call the Bills cucks? I think the Bills are cucks.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't think Liam wants to hear that, but
Cucks. Can we say cucks?
I didn't know. I don't know why.
that's not a protected class, right? I don't think so.
He's just rolling his eyes at us.
Can somebody tell me? I know this may be a little off topic here, but why is it that the Cowboys always seem? I know you don't like Romo, but they always seem to get the big names to call their games like that. Like, how does it Cleveland, Dallas gets chosen for Brady? Normally, Dallas is Romo covering them, right?
But what it is regardless of whether it's CBS or Fox covering it, the Cowboys are going to be the game of the week, or the Steelers are going to be the game of the week,
There's
or the
national
Chiefs.
teams, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, you and I don't have national teams.
No. 24 million people watched that game yesterday for Tom Brady. That's friggin' ridiculous for a regular season game.
I mentioned
I know
it.
it's the first, but
mentioned it earlier, but I thought that he was entertaining.
well, did you see the Micah Parsons? He did exactly. I'm bringing up Romo. He talked about how Micah Parsons was giving Deshaun Watson all of this. He was basically messing up all the time, and then Parsons comes off the edge, swats the ball out of the air, interception, right after Brady circled him. It was just perfect for a guy to have his first game like that.
Well, if there's anybody that knows what's about to happen,
It's probably Tom Brady.
yeah, he's pretty good at football and pretty good at diagnosing. We do have a game to go watch, so why don't we wrap this thing up and put this thing into a bow? I'm going to tell you that the best thing that happened to me this weekend that I might not ever be able to say again this year is we own the Big Ten and we own the AFC North, because there's only been one Big Ten conference game played, and Michigan State beat Maryland, and every other team in the AFC North lost. So I'm sitting on top. I am first place on everything. There's nothing but down from here. We are on top. No, you don't have. Oh, you have no good takeaway. Oh,
Horns, baby.
yeah.
Hey, I was a Horns fan this weekend. I was
And-
heartbroken Saturday though.
Chad had a nice Baker Mayfield Sunday, but Saturday was a little husky. Bad joke? Okay. Anyway, that's probably where I'll wrap it up. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody going out there supporting our Fight to End candidates. Anybody, if you want to get in touch with any of them, check it out. But we'll repost some of the barn dance stuff so you can figure out where that's going to be. Sounds like it's going to be one of those Wild Party X kind of scenes. But next week, these boys will be here. I'll be hanging out in Miami and Kansas City. So they'll be here taking care of business. And we'll see everybody next week.